Hi everybody. Week 3, Becoming a Critic. This chapter is where we start to develop the tools to digest the material for the rest of the course. Think of them as the fork, knife, and spoon used to eat a meal. The meal is art in any of its forms, and criticizing that art. The tools for doing that, the utensils, are what the authors call the D.I.E model, or D.I.E. D stands for describe, I stands for interpret, E stands for evaluate. The way the authors present them, however, can give you the impression that they are separate forms of criticism, when in practice they are probably more accurately described as different tools used for a complete criticism of a piece of art. Art must be experienced before one can criticize it, and these would be the stages of that experience leading to a critical evaluation. First off, describe the artwork. Imagine we are watching a modern dance piece. The first phase has you describing each aspect of the dance: the music, the types of movement, the costumes, the lighting, the choreography, even the choice of venue where we sit to watch. This gives you a jumping off point into the piece. Next, you would start to interpret why the artists made all those choices, why those specific costumes, why those types of movement, why this venue. Do they all work together? And in working together, do they suggest a theme, or idea, or an emotional impression? Lastly, you evaluate the success or failure of the piece to communicate wholly that theme, emotional impression, or idea. If they are using a certain color lighting, for example, and you interpret that lighting to suggest a certain mood, is that mood supported by the other elements of the piece? Does the choreography support the same mood? Does the costume support the same mood? Etc. Okay? And then in working together, in all of those elements working in concert, or not, do they strengthen the overall effect of the piece? Or do you find that some of the elements speak against the others? That's all right. Sometimes that's intentional. Sometimes it is communicating several different messages. Or sometimes it is presenting us a challenge, the way many forms of abstract art can challenge us. Because in abstract art, it's not always clear what the art piece is or what it's trying to say. Some of the elements can be so disparate, and their juxtaposition can make us feel disturbed just by experiencing it. It's a cacophony to us, and the artist may want us to experience being unsettled in exactly that way. That could be the whole message, or it could be something else, or it could be a sign of a piece of artwork that didn't really succeed in having all of its pieces come together. Going in that order, D-I-E, describe, interpret, and evaluate, of any piece of art will help you get a closer and more accurate criticism of what's going on. So for the rest of the course, that D.I.E model is going to help you in your discussions, since we have one every week. It's going to help you greatly to say what you need to say and the things I'll be looking for you to say. Remember, your first post in this week's discussion is due by Wednesday at midnight, and the quiz at the end of the week covers all 3 chapters we've looked at so far, and is due by Sunday night at midnight. If you have any questions, email me or call me.